All right, sorry about the late start, guys. Welcome back to Breaking Bitcoin. This is your daily source for everything cryptocurrency and personal finance. I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCrypotcurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic today, wherever you happen to be and however you happen to be tuning into the show. Whether you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. We've got a lot to talk about today. Before we begin, of course, we're very, very proud to have one of the fastest growing online communities of traders and investors. If you guys want to join the community for free, join us at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Link in the description below. So it's Friday. It's profit taking day. And it's been a good week. It's been a good week. July has been a good month so far. I've been a little bit more aggressive. We've been talking about more discretionary positions. We're going to continue carrying that forward. And, you know, just as a good educational method, I enjoy teaching individuals. I enjoy showcasing setups. I enjoy showcasing trade setups. And one of the reasons why is there is quite a bit you can learn about trading, for example, and your own personal trading from listening to somebody who's done it for a while. This is exactly how I learned. This is why we have our online community, not only our free community, but the premium community as well, where individuals can learn from each other. And I often find that the majority of the educational material out there for new traders, this is the entire reason I created Pathways to Profit in the first place, is, I don't want to say terrible, but just not very good. There are so many things that are left out. For example, risk management, which is really where trading begins and ends, psychological discipline, habit forming, responsibility. All of these things are absolutely important when it comes to trading. So, individuals that excel in forming a good risk management strategy, good position management, good discipline, and rule adherence, as well as good trading habits, will tend to have better success, regardless of the technicals, right? And that's why we close every show, or at least why we have lately, talking about its position sizing and risk management, the controls are that at the end of the month pays for the bills. So, but I enjoy the breakdowns, the discretionary positions. Sharing my experience with, different trade setups and different ways that I've traded over the years. So if you guys have questions or anything that you guys would like to see or any topics for future shows, make sure to let us know. Bitcoin is putting in some interesting behavior, potential, look at the charts here in a little bit, but again, following up off the throwback narrative of yesterday, again, sticking to the planning the trade. We're going to talk, it's funny, we're going to talk a little bit about Ethereum today. We're not going to probably get the time to do any major news things. Today's going to be a bit of a shorter show because I do want to prioritize the rest of Friday to finish up the last bit of copywriting that I have for the Online Trading Academy. So I'm really excited for that, by the way. So premium members will, unless Yellowstone erupts over the weekend, will get their first opportunity to see the Online Trading Academy and the new Pathways to Profit course. We've added a lot of material, a lot of helpful material. I really do think the last year of experience teaching individuals the style that I trade, the strategy creation method, has been very instructive, not only for them, of course, because many of them have profitable trading systems, but for me and how to teach what was missing, what holes to fill in. And it never really occurred to me that individuals coming to the course would not know anything about candlesticks, for example, right? Or not have the experience that I would consider most people would have. Like they have already tried price action trading or things like that. So, okay. So we're going to push that live on Monday. So premium members will have access to it, and any individual that wants to get an opportunity to see that will be able to see that as well. And as we've been talking about all week, we do want to offer an opportunity for previous premium members who were with us when we had less products and services, when we had less signals, when we had less educational material, when we had fewer indicators, when we had fewer analysts, when we had less mentoring opportunities, which we have now. We want to give them an opportunity to try out kind of the new, or at least to them, what would be the new experience of the premium trading group. So if you were a premium member, coming up soon, should be this weekend, check your emails and you will receive an invitation to join, to come back home, to come back into the premium Discord, and at a pretty substantial discount, because we do want to, again, we really appreciate the individuals that were there, especially in the beginning. We've helped and tutored so many students over the last 3 years. It's been a really awesome experience. So I want to give them an opportunity to come home if they so desire. And again, if someone out there fits into that category and you do not receive an email or a message from us, hit us up either in DM or at support@crackingcryptocurrency.com, the official support desk, and we'll be able to make everything right. With that being said, I didn't see any amazing comments, so we'll follow up with that. I don't have any follow-ups on yesterday's. Actually, it's funny. Yes, I do. I do have follow-ups on yesterday's news, and that's probably the one news article that I'll cover today because it is hilarious. But we will break down to the trade of the day, and we will look at the market. So if you guys have questions, drop them in the live chat. It is Friday, so we're just going to kind of take it easy today. I will be pretty active in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat, so I have no problem looking at chart requests. So just let me know what you guys want to see, what you guys want to talk about, and we'll do this. Let's go into the live scene, guys. All right, here we are. Okay, monitor switched around. We are good to go. I see Crypto Jack in the chat, DePie Guy, Rhino TD, Midwest Attempts. Let's see who else. Alex, Peckham, good to see you guys. Peckham says, can we have a tour of the office? I think Ivan on Tech did this best. He's like, look, man, I can't. These frames are just so perfect for the way I have everything set up in the office. Gotta keep a little bit of the mystery a little bit. Be like seeing behind the what do you call it? The veil, the Wizard of Oz. The veil of the Wizard of Oz. Can someone confirm, did VeChain really dump 40% and buy back 22% within 8 hours today? If any coin would have done it, it would have been VeChain. All right. Okay, let's get with this, guys. The first thing that we're going to do is I want to look at what I'm going to consider the trade of the day. And I'm just going to use one of mine for example. Well, okay, obviously, yeah, the trade of the day is quite simple. So this was... we'll do... We already talked about CHZ USDT, I think, yesterday, hitting our take profit. So this is a good opportunity. This is a close trade. So I don't have the chart open anymore because I replaced it with Doge, which is interesting. We'll look at that here in just a second. But Holochain. Holochain was easily the trade of the day. So following up on Dogecoin's success and seeing the liquidity kind of push into the low sats and knowing that there are certain market cycle opportunities, right? Generally, the market cycle, as we've noticed it, is that capital flows into BTC and we experience a BTC rally, and then capital flows into major alts and we experience a BTC rally, or excuse me, a high SAT rally. So I don't really consider it like large market capitalization. I really do view the markets in terms of SAT value, right? Do they, are they worth more in Bitcoin or are they not? Not necessarily their market capitalization. And then the capital in the market tends to flow into the mid sats, and then we have a mid sat rally, and then finally the low sats and the low sat rally. That is how the market cycle works when we are moving out of a bear market. So this is exactly how the market proceeded, breaking out of the $3,000 to $4,000 range in 2019. And this is how I saw the market cycle proceed and how I saw the kind of capital flow throughout the cryptocurrency sector. When, and again, we can look at the different aspects of this. For example, this is the same thing that we saw in the early 2018, like right after the 2017 run, and what we're seeing right now in 2020. So kind of following this 2020 rally, which is kind of the opposite, right? So capital flowing from BTC in the low sats and the mid sats into high sats, right? So kind of the reverse effect, but. Anyways, capital flowing into Doge and, kind of trying to think of a way to put this, generating an interest in the same kind of high return trades, right? I've noticed this happen. So if, one particular low sat tends to pump, you can generally find opportunities, or at least the sentiment is that other low sats will appreciate as well. That's certainly a sentiment way of looking at it. But again, there are kind of unique opportunities in cryptocurrency markets, the same that exist in any other market, right? There are all different kinds of edges. But anyways, with HOT, it had been, HOT had been consolidating in this range between 6 and 7 sats. And the first thing that I noticed, because I decided to watch HOT right after Doge, we had a great trade on Doge. Both Jason posted a trade on Doge, so I know he took the Doge trade, or his own Doge trade, and I took my own Doge trade as well, which we talked about which we've talked about over the last week, right? Well, first off, we talked about Doge, the day somebody pointed it out, and then the day that it broke out, and then the day that it pulled back, and then the day that it rallied again, and we were all in the community mentoring session on Wednesday. We host a community mentoring session on Wednesday for all the premium members, and we were, I want to say, for about probably 30 minutes while we were talking, we just watched Doge climb and climb and climb when we were all long on Doge. So it was good times. But anyways, Doge, HOT here broke out above 7 sats. I took the opportunity to set a limit bid at 7 sats, and I just targeted 10 sats. I figured that was a rational movement. And lo and behold, we did reach 10 sats. That's just the same thing. That's the range that we broke out of, just a simple measured movement of the range that we moved. And again, low sat, so yeah, not a lot to say about this trade. Just a good one. Just a good one. Not too many technicals to break down. Not too much to think about. Not an opportunity that comes around a lot. I almost never trade low sat coins, so yeah. Let's see here. Andrew says, how did your sell order get filled so quickly on HOT on that wick? It didn't. It did not. My order was too large. I ended up, so at 10, I marketed for 9, right? That would happen. And you can set that up. You can set it up that way on 3 commas. So the majority of all my personal order got filled at 9 sats. Probably maybe 3 people got filled at 10 sats. Speaking of Doge, let's take a look at Doge. All right. Now, I was not privy enough to take opportunity of this, but somebody just dumped Doge relatively quite a bit. So Doge had pulled back. We took pullback opportunities. Not only did we take the breakout trade and also the pullback trade, so 2 trades on Doge, but you guys can just see. So I remember this morning, 3 people had actually sent me a Doge chart. wanting to buy the pullback to 40 sats. And it's not a bad setup, right? That is a logical place to buy Doge on a Doge pullback. 40 sats was a pretty logical place. I did not, because kind of as I watched the market this morning, just my desire to enter into trades waned, right? I didn't see a lot of trades that screamed enter to me as far as discretionarily goes. And as I said to the premium members this morning for my, I'll call it a market analysis, I reduced exposure to almost all my long trades, actually to all my long trades. Long and short, because I was primarily long. I still have my Ethereum USD. I still have my Ethereum USD short open, which I opened up at 246. 246.95 is where I opened up my Ethereum short. And some good rationale for that. It's been a really good week of July. I'm up about 10%. I've been trading a little bit more discretionarily, and I've allowed, I don't want to say I've allowed, but some of the analysis that I've done on LTFs, those have moved outside of those LTF ranges. So trades that I analyzed on 15-minute have kind of moved into movements on the hourly, and you do not let what is a trade become an investment. So everything is relatively balanced out. I was able to close everything out in still a gain, right, on top of the wins that I've had over the week. And I'll just let Friday, Saturday, and Sunday work themselves out. I've done some analysis. I actually have the chart right here. This is the daily time frame, right? Now, I don't think this is statistically significant, but I do think it is interesting because it was interesting enough for me to test it. How many Fridays throughout 2020 have closed, negative or red versus positive green? And there are 28 Fridays so far in 2020. And I'm assuming that this one will close red. So we've had 28 Fridays, and exactly 14 of them have closed bullish, exactly 14 of them have closed bearish. And what I really was interested in is because I've noticed this pattern of having Friday a profit-taking day and then having a Saturday pump, right? And I wanted to see if the numbers actually back that up. Well, 64% of the time, if we close red on a Friday, we do close green on Saturday, right? So 9 out of 14 times. What I don't like about that is the sample data. Because that's going to be a statistic that's only true during certain periods of time, because then we can layer onto that. We can say, well, what about if it's in an uptrend? What about if it's in a downtrend? What about if it's in a sideways range? So, little too much speculation there, but just an interesting piece of analysis I thought I would throw out there. All right. Agency says VeChain is #1 in solving problems that don't need solving. Yeah, perhaps. All right. Okay, cool. Let's make today's show relatively short. And there's not a whole lot that I find significant in the markets today. Nothing's really happened that changes my opinion. Looking at the breaking Bitcoin system, again, this has not signaled along yet, but if it had, you would have a reversal baseline bounce opportunity if your confirmation indicators were bullish, which unfortunately they're not. We are above the Hall 60. We are retesting the Hall 60, which is a dynamic level of support and resistance. When we look at support and resistance horizontally here in a little bit, there's also a good case for this area as well. But Parallax, unfortunately, is still bearish. Wadatar Explosion is still far below the dead zone here, so really not signaling not to do anything at all. So this is literally, as Alex said, for the initiation of trades, certainly a no trade zone on the daily time frame. We still are sorting out what we did. Now, as far as the Donchian system goes, we do appear to be closing below the baseline. So if that does occur today, I will close out my BTC USD long position. And again, that is in reference to everything else that I've done as well today. Taking my money off the table and relaxing over the weekend and waiting to see what the market does come Monday. Let's see here. As far as structure, nothing significant has happened. Well, obviously we haven't moved that far. We are still consolidating in a really a rectangular pattern with well-defined resistance around 10,000, well-defined support around 8,600. And I do have slightly different moves for that, but the measure movement to the upside, the measure movement to the downside. Now, here is referencing my HVN analysis. This hasn't changed, still biased to the upside in the macro perspective. and kind of looking at today's price action, what's happened so far today has made sense. I don't like what's occurring over these last 2 hours in the market, which really was an impetus for my decision as well. But obviously, we are following up on the high sell volume that we talked about yesterday. And we, of course, have found some natural support. This is the upper level of the range where we consolidated at this previous bottom when backwardation was quite high, funding was quite low. The only problem that I have right now is that funding is not very low right now. Individuals are still not, or excuse me, after this rejection, individuals are still in their long positions. We don't see a lot of individuals hopping on the train here to short. We do have a spike in negative funding right here, and the market does move down. But we don't really have that same spike here. We don't really have that same spike here. So this previous high got swept just barely noticeably, but oh, can't see the tickers today. Sorry. Okay, yeah, let me fix that real quick. Oh, it's this one. Sorry. There we go. Should fix it. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. All right, so here are the things that I like. Again, I'm not playing this area. These are things that I would look for if I were looking for a discretionary trade setup, which I'm not. Again, Friday moving into the weekend, there's a lot of other things that I have to attend to, so I won't have the time span and attention to monitor active trades, particularly on the weekend. But if I were, things that would influence my opinions are this. I mean, the horizontal level of support and resistance is nice. I do like essentially this sweep, right? So price develops, and I said this yesterday, don't buy the first bounce. So I say that quite a bit. Anyways, we have this initial sell-off down to a level of previous resistance turn support, right? We do bounce off of it just a little bit. There is a profitable trade here, but for a bot, not really for a manual trader on this time frame. Let's see, maybe. See, ISIS bot generates a buy signal here, and there's not. I mean, there's really not. 0.5% in Bitcoin. I know a few people who might be able to do that consistently, profitably, manually, but coffee's not free. So you have to have a pretty quick attention span. Not realistic for most individuals. That's going to be bot territory. That low gets swept right here. So anybody that took longs off this position or tried to buy support, they've been potentially stopped out. You do have price rallying back above, right? Now, I really don't like this sweep. It's hard to describe why I don't like this, but I just certainly do not. And I do not like the lack of funding, right? But just from other than that, the setup certainly would be if price is able to come down and now hold that new level of support again, which again, you could argue that it did here, right? You could argue that it did here, right? Price came back up above, held that level. We do now need to see a higher low or a higher high to kind of progress in that fashion and feel a little bit more comfortable with taking the long in that situation. So, yeah, in this particular circumstance, I just don't see the things that would push me into a discretionary trade for Bitcoin. And because I'm slightly uncertain of what Bitcoin's going to do here now, moving into the weekend, that's also been a factor in me reducing my exposure in pretty much the alt market in general, right? So I'm kind of eager to see exactly what happens coming in Monday. Overall, what I was expecting when I first woke up, when I was first doing my morning analysis, and overall my prognosis for the weekend was, I expect to see Friday settle in the red. That would be a bearish close, and most likely below the Donchian, so that would invalidate my daily swing long. Like I said yesterday, sometimes it's just not that easy. And for Saturday, I was kind of expecting a Saturday rally. So we'll see if that does occur. Which would have left the option open to get out at a better price. I just won't have the opportunity to do that. For those who are actively monitoring their charts and who are going to be actively at their charts on Saturday, that is a possibility, something that they can do. All right, so as I don't have a massive amount of fresh information there, we will. Here, and the SPY is looking relatively the same. We looked at Ethereum as well, or excuse me, we will look at Ethereum. Ethereum, same thing as Bitcoin, a little bit closer to the upper range here. All right. Let's see. Reversal baseline bounce opportunity on Ethereum as well, although we did not quite hit the Donchian 26 right here. Time transformation is crossing under though. So what I would like to see is a little bit for the next, anyways, PTP signal on Ethereum, if we do generate one to the upside, is going to be some consolidation here underneath 242, and then a time transformation cross. That would be the signal that I would be watching for. All right. Otherwise, we are certainly closer to the overbought section, and of course, closer to the upper area of this range than resistance. So longing Ethereum doesn't make a whole lot of sense from this perspective until we can have a confirmed breakout or a PTP signal, something that would tell us to take a swing long on the daily. Going down to the 4-hour here on Ethereum. Coming down to the 4-hour here on Ethereum, we're neither oversold nor overbought. We're right in the middle, we're right in the middle of the range via our momentum oscillator. And I'm not really going to look at funding for Ethereum. I'm not sure why I have that indicator up. All right. We do have previous support here. We did put a slight bounce in, but we are even here on the 4-hour, and we can see it on the hourly too. Kind of consolidating right near that level of support, which symmetrical consolidation after a directional movement is generally indicative of a continuation of that directional movement. So I'm going to hold my short open on Ethereum. Let's see here. Scalp opportunity on this low. ISA spot buy signal here and sell signal here. And that's about it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything here that would want to make me enter into a new trade. Now, I will probably feel very different on Monday. I mean, I know that I will feel very different on Monday. I will, over the weekend, I'll be able to get the online trading academy done and really focus more on analyzing the charts. So on Monday, I'll be able to take a fresh read. We'll see exactly how the market has moved over the weekend, or at least how the CME futures and how the derivatives markets are going to move into kind of the transition from Sunday to Monday. And I'll be able to get a good pick. We're at this level where we're at this level, right? Where, as I said yesterday, we had hopefully an attempted breakout of Bitcoin. So many individuals entered into swing longs, me among them. And then we had some throwback. Now I'm okay with throwback, but if we hold, even with throwback, right, you have to maintain the level of the range, kind of like the level of initiation. If we start cracking down below this, then the drawdown is not sufficient. Or excuse me, the drawdown does not justify holding the trade open, right? The risk of holding the trade open and letting it run the stop loss does not justify keeping the trade open. For us, though, it's relatively simple too as well. Donchian 26, if price closes below that, we're allowed to, we're required to exit the trade. All right. Somebody asked, let me go ahead and answer somebody's question. I think it was Profit Bear. Atom USD. Yeah, he asked for Atom USD. Let's go take a look. Let's go replay. So we're out of holochain, so let's go here. Atom USD on Coinbase. All right, good stuff. Let's see here. Overbought on the daily here. Atom's been rallying. First off, let's see what. All right, so this is quite good. Yep, here is a But entered into this trade at 27. What did this close at? 2777. Atom USD on Coinbase. It's a good trade. All right. So as far as PTP is concerned, you would have gotten an objective trading signal on this candle. And whether you're using 1, 2, 3 or 50-50 or all in or all out profit taking method, you would be in. Now, currently my system is not generating an exit signal on Atom USD, so I would be holding this with a trailing stop loss. My trailing stop loss would be at 3.61. That's where my trailing stop loss would be. So pretty much locking in the majority of those gains. Yeah, about locking in about 30% of those gains. About a 10% stop loss. Yeah, about a 10% stop loss. All right, now. Oops. Rising volume, rising volume. All right, so Atom USD is rallying on increasing volume. And as I said, overbought on the daily with time transformation, as we just saw in the Donchian system and with ISISpot here. Good. All right, if first place, I would look for a pullback. We'll get to that when we get there. That's not really what you're requesting. What you're asking is, should I take profit? So, Brig, feel like I give this traditional answer so many times, but it's relatively obvious. The best thing to do in this case, we are overbought on the daily. It may run contrary to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin gets some more downside, then certainly it's going to move to the downside. But this has been moving contrary. So, of course, Atom moving on its own merits here. It is up quite a bit. So depending on your entry, it might make sense for you to take profit here. Certainly, some should be off the table if you have, if you have garnered some profit at this highly extended area, overbought on the daily. It certainly makes sense to have some off the table and not put yourself at the risk of loss. Because if, as some altcoins do, this thing turns rapidly, then you would have an unsuccessful trade. So do not turn a winning trade into a losing trade. So lock in profits, put your stop loss at break even, run a trailing stop loss if you like, if this has been a long swing trade for you. If you're asking for continuation here, I don't see anything that would make me want to enter. So the daily is overbought. The 4 hours consolidated near the overbought region. Let's go look at the hourly for the love of God. The hourly is overbought. The 15-minute is overbought. You know what I mean? So yeah, not a good entry opportunity for me. Let's say I bought it on Atom just after the March sell-off. I think $4 is a good sell price, but I've seen it higher. Oh, the choices. I mean, you are like 25 fractions, away from that $4. I would certainly front run that $4, man. That you bought right after the March meltdown. Yeah, bro. I would say you've had a pretty good trade. Bought here on panic and selling here on euphoria. One thing is becoming clear. Everybody, listen, and I'm not saying that they're wrong, but everybody is convinced that this is the altcoin bull market. This is going to continue, and it certainly might. I will watch the setups when I can, and so I'm being a little cautious. So if you guys are, what I'm being is cautious, right? I'm seeing Bitcoin pull back. It didn't do exactly what I expected it to do. I'm like, okay, I'll let this one go. All right, hold the Ethereum short open. That was a good idea. That makes me that makes me look at everything else that I'm in, and I'm like, let me rethink this, right? Let me just hold on. Because when it becomes self-evident, and I've seen this just so many times, man, when it becomes evident that now the altcoin bull market is here, that's generally when it is no longer there. So it can continue. It can continue. But when everything is relatively overbought, and then you see everybody very, very certain that the bull market's going to continue, and then you see the two majors begin to pull back, pay attention. The VIX fix is a good indicator, Storm. Yes, it is. All right. Yeah, that's kind of all I got for charts today, guys. Like I said, it's got to be a relatively quick show today. It's already 12:45, so I think I'm going to go ahead and hop into just kind of the one news story that I wanted to cover, which is following up on what happened yesterday. We were talking about Ethereum and Ethereum 2.0 and kind of second layer solutions and DeFi and the effect on the Ethereum network. And we had said what we've kind of heard all year long, which is Ethereum. It's just Ethereum 2.0 is right around the corner. And then in an Ask Me Anything, it was Justin Drake, who's an Ethereum developer, says basically he must have watched the video because they walked that back now. They're saying that Ethereum 2.0, probably the earliest that it will be here is going to be January of 2021. So it's not going to be summer of 2020. It is not going to be November of 2020. It's going to be January of 2021 at the earliest, which just is, it's really sad. It's really sad to see that. I think they need to get their marketing campaign in order, because this has just happened this has literally gone on for like several years. Literally gone on for several years. There is some decent information here. He said there are a few things he wants to see before the Genesis block: a public testnet with 3+ clients running smoothly for 2 to 3 months, an incentivized attack net running for 2 to 3 months, a bug bounty program similar to bounty.ethereum.org running for 2 to 3 months, and serious differential fuzzing across the clients. So, all rational things to see, all good things to see, and they all make sense when you're looking for a good platform or project to be built. But is not certainly does not leave anybody who is eager for Ethereum 2.0 or for some of these layer 2 scaling solutions to come quickly to solve the problem. Does not really help out there. Yeah, delayed again, you don't say. All right, we've got about 13 minutes left. So I'm going to bring on the guys, if they'll come on, and answer questions if you guys have any. So give me a second. I'm going to go to the... All right, just give me one moment, guys. All right, and I am back, guys, joined as usual, or maybe as slightly usual, by, we've got Crypto Jack in the house. We've also got junior analyst Midwest Attempts in the house.
How's it going, everyone?
Yo, yo.
All right, how you guys doing this morning? Afternoon, evening, good evening.
Oh, it's
Good.
Friday.
Could be better. Not too bad.
I can't complain. What's life without a little bit of drawdown?
All right, let's do it. Monday. Yeah, that's what Mondays are like. All right, so let's let's talk about some of these news articles then. This one is in the tab. CFTC to develop holistic framework for crypto assets by 2024. You know, when I was reading this article this morning, and you know, essentially, it seems like my takeaway from it was, you know, the CFTC is considered like the holy grail if they accept digital assets, and they have this plan, hopefully, to develop a very holistic approach to digital assets and derivatives, so that we have so that there's plenty of liquidity and there's plenty of protection, and you know, figuring out essentially probably a much more novel fix to the problem that BitMEX had to solve, which is, you know, how do you get margin out of somebody who, you know, in a way that you can't take money from them, right? Because of the use of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So
Certainly a good sign, though. Clearly, there's like some regulatory integration on the horizon, and so this story certainly, I think, is between this. Honestly, I think this kind of coincides with the whole Coinbase IPO type story from yesterday. You know, I do think that in the next 4 years we will finally see this real legitimization of crypto and Bitcoin, and that's kind of what this whole CFTC story points to. Like they talk about how they're going to focus on what they call enhancing liquidity in the derivative markets that could help, you know, bring the cryptocurrencies to market. So I think that's really good. That's a really good sign, you know.
I would agree. I believe that.
Justin, your mic's a bit low.
yeah, I turned it up. Should be good now.
In the sense of where we're at with crypto, I mean, we're still way in that early adopter phase, whether we like it or not. And I think that this does point to signs that this will become legitimate, like the way that we all think it will.
Yeah, CFTC's blessing would do, you know, wonders, I think, for the industry, you know, being able to see these derivatives get the green light. And it goes to show you it's somewhere on the regulatory roadmap in this next decade, let's say. So this 2020s could be a big decade for crypto, no doubt.
Absolutely. I think the absolute negative for fiat in the 20s.
Yeah, one thing that I take away from this too is just kind of justification of what I've chosen to do with my life. You know, when I went from trading Forex primarily to trading cryptocurrency, and I stopped, I stopped a lot of the trading engagements that I had at that time with Forex, and I moved to trading mostly my own money in cryptocurrency markets. How do I put this? It wasn't really considered that legitimate, right? It was quite for, you know, in the professional trading world, it was considered very, very not cool. And this just lets us know that it is currently now absolutely fine. There are far more professional traders who focus on cryptocurrency, although it is still highly retail driven. And, you know, if this is very helpful to the market, if we do have, you know, far more CFTC approved derivatives, and they have this kind of holistic framework, then I think we can kind of look forward to a very liquid and a very liquid market to trade, a very liquid, a very volatile, and a very professional market to trade. So individuals, if you're trading cryptocurrency, which if you're watching this channel, you certainly are, and you're thinking to yourself, well, how long am I going to be able to do this? Is this really going to last for a long time? Am I really going to be able to retire on this? Well, yes, because just the same way that individuals are able to trade FOREX or traditional markets and earn a living, just as individuals like I do, just as individuals on the team do. The more established, or unfortunately, the more regulation there is, probably the more easier it is to earn a legitimate income from doing it. So it's not a dark web thing. It's not something you need to be ashamed about. It's not something that you need to be afraid to tell your friends and family about. Like, what do you do? I trade cryptocurrency. Oh, you trade crypto? That's totally cool. Yeah, it'll be even cooler in 2024.
I feel like it's just going to be a normal thing. Like, oh, you make your money that way too? Like,
it's nice that they recognize that liquidity is an issue, right? So if they're going to be able to bring some liquidity to the table, I think that's very, very good sign. But you want to jump onto the next one?
Sure, yeah. So this is right here. 20,000 Bitcoin withdrawn from Coinbase. Major outflow hits exchanges. Jack, I didn't know that your electricity bill was that high this month.
yeah, damn.
Yeah, I needed to pay the bills, right? And the baby mama.
She sounds expansive.
So this is an article from Zcrypto. They're quoting Glassnode, and I believe I have that link to Glassnode. We'll look at it here in just a second. It's about $183 million of the Bitcoin withdrawn from Coinbase. This is saying this is the second wave of massive Bitcoin outflows that have hit exchanges this year. First major but
Yeah, we touched on the first major outflow, if you guys remember, in this news story earlier this year, and it marked kind of like lows in terms of deposits on exchanges. A lot of people were speculating whether that would be a good sign for the exchanges. If you guys also remember, there was that boycott Coinbase thing a few months ago as well, when it was revealed that Coinbase was going to be spinning off their analytics arm to like the law enforcement or something, or to the government.
Yeah,
but yeah, part of like a greater trend though, that like more and more money seems to be leaving the exchanges, which for hardcore guys such as ourselves who are all about the not your keys, not your coins type mantra, this is probably maybe a good sign, right? But I don't know how that affects maybe the order books and your liquidity on exchanges. I would imagine at face value, I think that would be a good thing, maybe bullish, a smaller supply on exchange. Maybe that's might lead to a big pump. But you tell me, Justin, what's your take on this?
There's a couple ways to interpret this, and I think the main way that I've always thought of this is this is a good thing for, let's say, non-custodialship. So having your own coin. So if we assume that this is a kind of a community event, or for whatever reason, this is a phenomenon that's happening across the market to lots of regular individuals, whether they're larger traders or medium traders or retail investors or just hobbyists or whatever, anybody who is engaging with these centralized exchanges. And I think that's the way I've thought of it, but I am starting to think a little bit more critically about that, because I don't actually see that, because that would seem to suggest that individuals are becoming more educated about how to utilize cryptocurrency, how to secure their privacy, or how to guarantee their digital rights to their crypto, which is if you're the only person with the key, then you're the only person who can take it. So it is possible that this is a symptom of late stage empire behavior, which I've been talking about quite frequently, which I do believe is basically what's going on in the world on the macro. Where individuals are becoming, whether they understand it or not, more fearful of what's the word I'm looking for here? Being robbed by the government, essentially, right? Through any means. Why trying to dump fiat currencies, because they understand, whether they know it or not, that these dollars are not very valuable. If they know anything about the economy, all the money that's being pumped into the economy, even people who don't know anything about economics, if you ask them whether they wanted to spend, if you gave them $1 in gold and $1 in a dollar bill, and you ask them, what would you rather spend if you had to buy something that was worth $1, which nothing is worth $1 anymore, they would spend the dollar. They understand intrinsically that gold is more valuable. So it's possible that it's a phenomena like that. I don't really, unfortunately though, maybe being a little cynical, I don't really see that trend where people are becoming more educated about, personal responsibility in the form of Bitcoin. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, this sounds a bit like a whale or something. I doubt that they're like collectively a bunch of medium or small users suddenly pull off their money. Sounds like a big whale decided, I'm going to pull $180 million of the Bitcoin off of Coinbase. And I wonder if there's like a big OTC deal made, or if there's some kind of turbulence projected ahead. Like, we can only speculate on what this was, but it seems to be part of a bigger trend. I wonder if the whales know something that we don't.
That's where I was going to go next with it. I do, thinking a little bit more critically about this issue, I do now kind of want to investigate, or what I think is also likely is what you just said, that this is indicative of more Bitcoin that exists in supply. Remember, there's only a finite supply of Bitcoin. So if you believed, like I do, that it is going to be a very strong and valuable currency and medium of, just everything that Bitcoin is in the future, and you had the power and the opportunity to accumulate as much of that as you possibly could now, then you would do so. And so it's certainly going to be easier for what we would consider whales or wealthy individuals or high net worth investors to do that, or funds or firms or banks or even malicious actors, right? Like, one way to kill Bitcoin is to buy all of it and then never send it, right? That's one way to kill the Bitcoin network. Buy all the Bitcoin that you can that possibly exists and then just toss away the private key. Of course, the nice thing about that is that we could just fork the chain. Having said that, it is possible, because from what I hear, OTC volume is increasing. We have some data metrics that can show that. And we also have no data metrics that can show certain things, because some OTC desks don't report their volume. OTC desks don't report how much they transact. So I think it's likely that more Bitcoin is being accumulated, that a greater quantity of Bitcoin is being held by a smaller amount of individuals, and that a lot of this activity is going to go on OTC desks, or is going on OTC desks. So yeah, I think that's highly likely. But I don't know what that necessarily points to. I think what it might point to is, in the future, right, or a trend that we might see is the realization that we need decentralized exchanges, that centralized exchanges are too risky, and we'll move to decentralized exchanges.
All right, maybe hop on to the next story real quick. This one's real brief. This one's about the big mover today. I don't know if anybody noticed this ERD.
Yeah, Elrond.
Like 50. Yep.
Yeah, so, just nothing too fantastic. Let's go look at it on the charts, because I did have ERD on my watch list. I did not take a position in ERD, so I did not take advantage of this whatsoever. But let's go look back through the lens of like what might have been. Okay, so we were already in, it's funny. Time transformation generated a sell signal here. So a couple good trends. Bullish trend above the 26 the entire time, never dropped below. So this is just a strong bullish trend. I had been looking at this for continuation, but discretionarily, but I didn't find an opportunity to get in, and my alerts ended up going off. I don't really see anything here, at least on the daily. Yeah, here's a crossover in overbought territory. So if you're not, if you're a little bit more aggressive and you enter on continuation signals in overbought territory with a momentum oscillator, I do not. You could have done this. I don't see. Doesn't really feel like. Let's see here. What is it from low to high? From low to high, it's about 50%. From open to high, it's about 47%. Yeah, there's a 4-hour swing trade there. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's different metrics and different setups you could have used to get on this. We do see, you know, our first move up and then a little bit of symmetrical consolidation, a pennant actually, and then a break of that, and then a continued measured move up. Pretty heavy sell side volume coming in here, but I do believe the best explanation is well, depending on kind of your view about the news, right? This is news coming out about ERD, and this is exactly what moved what do you call it? I can't remember which one it was. I don't remember if it was Matic or there was another coin that that moved quite a bit on news. And
Doge.
No, well, yeah, Doge certainly is a good example. Yeah, so that's a good example, right?
The TikTok, yeah.
Yeah, you get to a certain phase of the bull market, and you know we saw this in 2018, we saw this in 2017, where you know individuals are. I remember when watching CoinMarketCal.com was Kyber's a good example, S180XT, where you individuals are watching the kind of news event calendar where every partnership, you know, every announcement, every AMA is cause for a 20 to 30% pump. It's it's nothing super special. You can't really predict these, so individuals that caught the trade, they should have caught the trade through good technicals. As I said, they were there. There is an edge certainly in getting the news faster than anybody else. Generally, though, I will say this: I've noticed that the whole like cryptocurrency news like strategy, like having bots that scrape the web looking for crypto news and getting it before anybody else can react to it. I've only seen that work a couple of times because I know individuals that have written bots like that and tried that trading strategy, and it worked good at a period in 2018. It might be working good now. I don't think it works good most of the time.
In my opinion, that's exactly why Justin Sun posted an article about how he's going to get on TikTok, like he's trying to make it work for him, because some people will be like, well, I guess this is ahead of the news. I know some people will buy it.
Yeah.
So go fill up your bags with TRX, I guess.
All right, what do we got next?
I think that was the last one you had, wasn't it?
This one right here. This is from Zero Hedge. 83% of German firms with international exposure warn of collapsing revenues. So this doesn't surprise me. We have seen. Just go ahead, Jack.
I was gonna say, you know, the whole fallout from COVID, we might not have really it might not have come home to roost quite yet, right? We might still be waiting for the other shoe to drop, and so the real economic fallout might still be kind of under the surface, right? And then be waiting to hatch.
Yeah.
And for a leading economy like Germany, you know, this kind of report does seem a bit ominous.
Yeah, I mean, you know, one thing that that I've known about and kind of tracking is, or that's just depressing is, or telling is just continual, like absolutely crushing bank revenues. They're not good. So if you're looking for, you know, are the bastions of the financial institution or the financial sector making or losing money? They're getting crushed.
Yeah, it's not looking pretty. I don't know about you guys. Have you guys done any shopping lately? Have you noticed there's not a lot of stock in certain stores? I feel like there might be a bit like supply chain issue, or I don't know if products are having trouble getting from port or to port. But I have noticed that, you know, I've wandered out recently looking at different stores. You know, the malls are only partially open inside, and a lot of places have like limited stock on the shelves in some cases. I don't know if you guys, it's pretty purely anecdotal, but you tell me if you guys observed anything like that.
The only thing I've noticed is in the meat supply, but I feel like that's another issue. I mean, it could be related, but
Oh, it is. Certainly, they had major meat production shutdowns across Europe and North America. And I don't know about you guys, but beef prices have skyrocketed where I am.
yeah, they've gone up for sure. But I just shop at Sam's Club. But I mean, there was definitely, like, they get their shipments on Saturday. If you didn't go in on Saturday, you weren't getting anything.
Yeah, they did that on. Listen, I know what you're talking about. Like at least where I'm at, it happened. So I saw, for example, prices of meat where I'm at rise to like literally double. So normally pound of ground beef right here is like 389, 489, and there was
$9.
and there was a month where there was like $10. It's not like that anymore. Price has gone down. It's still certainly up, and that's going to continue. Just as a natural part of, you will see kind of the biggest argument against inflation or for MMT is that you haven't seen the inflation in the economy. Again, of course, you can see the inflation in goods and services that are actually highly valuable or required, such as healthcare, such as schooling, such as tuition, just everything that you can track. Cheap stuff is cheap, but food is also required. So you've seen the cost of food go up. So you can certainly see the results of inflation, the inevitable results of inflation, with the prices of food.
And let's not forget the amount of shrinkflation that we've seen, where it looks like they're offering the same amount of food, but they reduce the amount of food that's inside of the box, leaving the boxes the same size.
Packaging.
How many times have you seen that in your favorite food? Like all of them, right?
That does happen.
Pop-Tarts are smaller than that when I was a kid. I swear to God.
Well, they're
For
Pop-Tart.
real.
They're Pop-Tart minis, dude.
So yeah, the purchasing power of the dollar is less. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what my opinion is on that supply chain issue. I don't know if that's just something that's now rolling to Canada. Maybe you guys had a better larder than us, or maybe you guys are just like farther behind on the supply chain, or because I don't notice that now, but I don't go out that much. It might be happening.
Yeah. It seems to have gotten better, but I also am not out all the time, so.
Definitely a trend that's gonna play itself out sooner than later. But I noticed even our McDonald's, McDonald's, notified customers that they're gonna be like reducing the supply of like how many beef patties they can basically deliver per day. So now I noticed, like, not that I eat at McDonald's, but I have noticed people reporting that, like, man, Big Macs are always sold out by lunch or something. So, and quarter pounders are gone by like fucking 3 p.m. So
Oh my
clearly,
God. Is it even America anymore if we have to ration our
dude,
Big Macs?
that's how I feel, dude. This is it. It's over.
That's it. America's done.
We're gonna bring on the bug burgers, dude. It's over.
The Ruskies won the war.
It was a hard fight.
Yeah. That's it. Pack it in, guys.
I'll take an extra thing of fries.
No, I'm sorry. We're sold out.
Well,
no!
That's like how people get with the McRib. Now it's just everything.
I read Szechuan sauce.
Szechuan.
Yeah.
Invented just for that.
All right. We got to wrap it up, guys. I got to.
It's because I showed up, isn't it?
It's because you showed up. I had a timer.
Great.
Could you answer maybe that one question about the Don Chan that?
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to leave him hanging. I did see that. Der student asked, how can I put a Don Chan on my chart if I don't have the breaking Bitcoin indicator?
I got it. So the Don Chan certainly doesn't. So the Don Chan doesn't have anything to do with the breaking Bitcoin indicator. You can use the Ichimoku indicator to get a Don Chan. All of those moving averages are not really moving averages. It's a Don Chan algorithm. So you can certainly put any length in an Ichimoku indicator. You can use ours if you like. You can visit tv.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Links are in the description, and you can use for free our Ichimoku indicator. Let me actually.
And we have isn't it part of the EMA indicator that we offer for free too?
Actually, you know what? It might be. That's a good.
I think it is in there.
Yeah, just use one of these EMAs, dude. No big deal.
It is in there.
We got you. I think so.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out first.
And you are currently using a length of 26 on the Don Chan, right?
Mm-hmm. But I have a point about that here in just a second. Yeah. So you can use So you can use CC-EMA. So you can just check our.
I want to make a nuanced caveat.
I want to make a very, very nuanced caveat. So here's all our indicators. Most of these are going to be for premium subscribers only, but our Ichimoku indicator, our exponential moving averages indicator, our Fisher transform indicator now, yep, and Wadatar explosion, as well as, no, that's it. That's literally it. Those are our public indicators. So you can use those 4 or 5. And you can select Donchian, as Alex pointed out there, for your smoothing. So just pull open the settings menu in CC EMA, and you can move to Donchian right here and put in any length you want, the price source that you want. I've made this pretty open-ended, and then you can also do crossovers if you want. But I assume you're only going to be using one, so you can disable this, and this, and just get the Donchian that you want right there. So this is an 8-period Donchian. If you want it to be a 26-period Donchian, that's fine, or a 52, or a 19, or a 16.5. Oh, right there.
So we got you, boo.
We got you, boo.
Have you tested your FX system with a 60 Hall instead of a Donchian? I have. And I used the 26 Donchian, which should tell you something. What can I replace time transformation with? Thank you. Time transformation is based, so certainly the underlying algorithm is Fisher transform. So you can experiment with Fisher transform. Now, having said all that, what I want to say is that it makes sense to me that a similar baseline is going to work well with a similar initiator on a similar asset class. What I will say though is that it's not that time transformation is magical. It's good. It's not that the Donchian 26 is magical. It's not. It's not that the 60 Hall is magical. It's the way that they work together, and it's the way that they work together over time, and it's also the method of trading them and knowing what to do when literally anything happens. Right? They tell you when to be in and when to be out. They tell you when to exit, when to So it's not the individual particular indicator. There's no alternative. And I will say this because I've seen, unfortunately, a lot of individuals do this. They parrot the indicators that they see me use on stream, and they have mixed results. I see mixed results, not consistent, profitable, verified good results. I see those results out of the individuals that go through the process, that go through the course, that build their own strategy, regardless of what indicators they use, because you can use whatever indicators you like. It's how you use them. It's the procedure, right? It's the process. It's the habits. It's the risk management, and a lot of it, is the back testing. Because if you don't optimize, if you don't spend the time building the system in the first place, or kind of optimizing the indicators in the first place, you will have worse results when you're actually live trading. So, just wanted to make that point.
If we could field one last question.
Go ahead.
Andrew asked, this is relating, of course, to Hollow. How did your sell order get filled so quickly on Hollow on that wick? I feel like my orders never get filled on the low cap.
Yeah, I answered that.
He did answer that one.
Yeah,
my mistake. Sorry, guys.
So and just in case he didn't hear either, it didn't. My personal sell, I mark when on in 3 commas, you can set how you want to sell things. So I set bid market 10 sats. So when price hits 10 sats, it will sell at the first available bid of market order, which was 9 sats. And I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen.
That's pretty much guaranteed with that low of a sat.
But that's a movement that I was quite happy with. And honestly, it could have gone a different way. Things, a lot of things look, once you have the historicity of the chart, once you have what happened on the chart, you can kind of make any narrative you want. But it was the safe move to make. It was the right thing to do. Price could have kept going up and done the 10 and 11 thing, and then I could have sold at 10 sats, but didn't push my luck. Just went for a nice little 2 sat spread, and I was lucky enough to get it. And on Holochain, that's all you needed.
Nice 43% gain. I mean,
yeah, can't be mad. So. All right, guys. Yeah, I see. Now more people are coming in, but it's time to go. Do you guys have anything before we vacate?
Just gonna give everyone a heads up. We're probably gonna do movie night tomorrow, so hope you guys can join us in the Discord.
Oh, what movie are we doing?
Undecided yet, but if you want to throw some ideas out in the members lounge or something, gentlemen, feel free. Put your suggestions in. They may or may not be taken under consideration.
But
I think it's going to be an interesting weekend. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, to be honest with you. I think if we hold this 9,200 range, like if we can hold that previous low, I think that we can definitely see a high volume Saturday, like you were saying. A close on negative Fridays usually correlates to a pump on Bitcoin on Saturdays, but I mean, there's not enough data to really give you an edge there. But
I wanted to answer S180s. I honestly have to say bearish, right? I closed out my long exposures. I don't feel comfortable being in a long. I feel that my trade's been invalidated, so I'm going to let the daily close ultimately dictate that. But I certainly don't feel confident in a long. So I'm now in a position where I will likely have to respond. So this will not be my most perfect entry. So the best thing for me to do then is not trade in that condition. Like don't wait, don't look around for an exit. I've had a very successful trading week, so I will not push my luck and wait until Monday when things are quite clear. And I think that they will be. All right. So as far as upcoming events, Jack's right. We do have movie night. If you guys want to join us in the free Cracking Cryptocurrency Discord on Saturday evenings, usually at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, we start movie night. We will be watching something most likely awesome. Trading places. Over the weekend, if you were a former premium member, keep a lookout for your for an email from us with a discount code to rejoin the premium trading group to see our new products and services and features. On Monday, we are looking to launch the Online Trading Academy. And that's about it. If you guys have any questions or comments, concerns, you can leave them in the comment section down below. Discord link is down below, and so is the website if you are interested in the other things that we do as well. Other than that, thank you guys for joining me this evening. I want to remind everybody that, even when, charting a really cool chart, getting an amazing entry is great. Selling at the very top is great. But risk management and emotional discipline pay the bills. So focus on those first. All right, guys. That's about it for me. You guys have a fantastic Friday. Sorry for the shorter show, but we will see you guys on Monday and look forward to talking to you in the Discord over the weekend.
have a good weekend, everyone.
Stay safe, everyone.
Cheers, boys.